unique fighter. The man of his stature shouldn't be able to move the way he moves, and yet he still does. So I was definitely struck by it 100%.
He looks like an absolute animal. The spars were as such. You know, there were two guys going in there and getting at it. And
that's what probably surprised. Well, no, probably what surprised me more than anything was the confidence that he had. He was getting it with me. You know, I was world champion at that point, and this young man came in and he really just tried to put it on. I'm like,
the power's gonna be there. Come on. There we go. Step off on the side. Come on. There we go. I gotta keep that hand at home. Gotta keep that hand home. There we go. Get off the line. There we go. Good work. I'm going straight backwards. Come on.
Moses Itauma first words after training with Chris Eubank Jr. reveal pure surprise. You can hear the respect in every pause. Itauma didn't expect that level of speed, rhythm, or technical polish. Eubank's movement isn't just style, it's control. He dictates the ring like a tactician who never lets emotions break form.
He's like a middleweight, do you know what I mean? Like a sort of not an amateur boxer, but an amateur style, like jab, move, or like pick your shots and move. Like he ain't meant to fight like that. And I was like, there was at some point, yeah, when I was getting frustrated with like all the movement and everything, and yeah, but I feel like
Moses Itauma's words capture more than surprise. They reveal genuine respect. Sharing the ring with Chris Eubank Jr. showed him what elite really looks like. Behind Eubank's sharp technique is a calm, disciplined presence that demands admiration from anyone who steps through the ropes with him.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how normal he is. And he definitely's got time for everyone. He's very knowledgeable and everything also, whether it's like talking about the Bible, whether it's boxing, whether it's money, whether it's life. He's very knowledgeable.
Eubank's training for Conor Benn proves exactly why that respect is well earned. Chris Eubank Jr.'s statement might be brief, but the conviction behind it says plenty. Every punch, every drill carries the weight of redemption. He's not just preparing for a rematch, he's refining a message. Eubank wants to prove that discipline and experience still rule over reckless aggression. Conor Benn's words carry raw emotion, the sound of a man obsessed with vengeance. But emotion cuts both ways in boxing. While Benn's fury fuels him, Eubank's calm precision has already proven it can silence chaos. This isn't just bad blood anymore. It's a psychological duel waiting to explode.
I will dismantle him. I will ruin him. He gets absolutely destroyed. Destroyed. There's no comeback. There will be no comeback after he fights me. When I beat him, I'll put him into an early retirement. I will put him into retirement.
Derek Chisora's observation is the kind of endorsement you can't buy. It's earned through pain and respect inside the ropes. For Chisora to call Eubank, a man speaks volumes about his transformation. This isn't the same Eubank Jr. we saw years ago trying to find his rhythm. This is a fighter who's finally figured out who he is. 4 straight wins, each one more assured than the last. Show maturity in timing, defense, and composure. Eubank no longer fights to impress, he fights to dominate. That shift from ego to precision is what makes him truly dangerous now.
Listen, when I was sparring him, he was a boy, now he's a man, do you understand? So now he's come totally different. You know, he's had about 4 wins back to back in good style as well. So right now, he's just going to the top.
Dave Coldwell's analysis sounds cautious, but it underestimates how Eubank thrives under pressure. Each time critics have written him off, he's found a way to adapt and overcome. That's the mark of an elite athlete, learning from pain, not hiding from it. Coldwell questions Eubank's ability to repeat the same intensity, but those who followed his career know he's built for repetition. The rematch isn't about proving stamina, it's about proving evolution. Eubank doesn't need to fight the same fight again, he just needs to fight smarter, and every sign points to him doing exactly that.
And I don't think at this stage Eubank can do a lot more else. You know, he'll try and do what he did, you know, on fight night. It's whether he can go so well again. I don't think so. If the fight becomes as hard and if it's as the pace and ferocity of a first fight, I'd be very surprised and I'd be amazed if Eubank can do all that.
Even seasoned broadcasters believe this rematch could redefine both men's legacies. Adam Smith's words highlight what the boxing world already feels. This fight isn't just a rematch, it's a spectacle. Eubank at 36 represents experience, control, and reinvention, while Ben at 29 brings youth and aggression. It's a perfect storm of generations colliding. The stakes are higher, not just in money, but in pride and legacy. Fans don't just want to see who's better, they want to see who's changed more. Eubank knows the pressure of carrying a name, and now he's fighting not to prove his worth, but to cement his legacy. When Smith says we'll be entertained, he's not exaggerating. This is personal, and boxing thrives on that.
I'm still going to poke and prod, but the fact is we created something special. We're going to try and create something even more special November 15th. Animosity is still there, but it's not like it was before, where it was like, I've been waiting for 3 years to fight this guy, and yeah, I just want to get my hands on him. I've got my hands on him now. I've beaten him. So now it's kind of like, all right, well, we're going to do it again. We're going to do it even better. Let's see what happens, you know? It's a different energy.
You see yourself knocking him out this time round?
I think so. That's the goal. That's going to be the game plan. I don't want to have another 12-round fight. So if I can get him out of there, I'm going to.
Tony Jeffries' words capture the brutal truth of modern boxing. This fight is far deeper than rankings or belts. It's two men standing at the edge of legacy, where one step forward could define their career and one mistake could destroy it. Chris Eubank Jr. steps into this rematch with the composure of a man who's learned from every scar. His mindset isn't revenge, it's validation. He's fighting to prove he's the smarter, calmer, and more disciplined warrior. Conor Benn, however, enters with desperation disguised as determination. He's young, explosive, and burdened by expectation, carrying not just his own name but the shadow of his father's. Jeffries is right. This isn't just about boxing. It's about identity, ego, and redemption. For both men, a win means survival. A loss could mean the beginning of the end.
This would sell out any stadium in the UK. I was going to see it in the world there, but probably not in America because that many people wouldn't fly over. It would sell out a lot. But the fight location still hasn't been announced yet, but I do know that it's going to be on September 20th. Now, as for the
Barry Jones's insight carries the voice of realism. He knows the cost of these kinds of fights. The first encounter pushed both men to their limits, but Eubank emerged as the more composed and strategic operator. Jones respects that intelligence, acknowledging that Eubank's control and adaptability gave him the edge. While Ben's aggression can be explosive, it also leaves him open, and Eubank has always been a master at exploiting mistakes. What makes Jones's point compelling is his honesty. This fight is risky for both, but the danger lies more heavily with Ben. If he loses twice to the same man, the psychological damage could be irreversible. For Eubank, it's about preservation, proving that his experience still reigns supreme over youthful chaos. Jones's realism is what fans often overlook. This isn't a rivalry built on hate anymore, but on survival instincts and pride.
This fight can only harm him, because that was a hard fight, the first one. This one will be another hard fight, whoever wins, unless there's a real freak occurrence, not freak occurrence, unless someone gets caught with the shot really early, then it's going to be a hard night, which you still have to make Eubank the favourite again, like I did the first time. I mean, so I don't know.
Johnny Nelson's perspective adds a layer of doubt that fuels the drama. He points to Eubank's stiffness, his static moments, hints that time might be catching up. At 36, movement and reflexes become harder to maintain, and Nelson believes that could be the difference. Yet his words also spark debate, because while Eubank may have slowed physically, he's evolved mentally. He doesn't need to chase Ben. He knows how to make Ben come to him and punish every mistake. Nelson's analysis reminds fans that boxing isn't about speed alone. It's about timing, patience, and intelligence. Conor Benn might enter sharper and stronger, but he'll also be facing a man who has already learned how to dismantle him once. Whether Nelson's prediction comes true or not, his skepticism adds fuel to a rivalry already boiling with pride, doubt, and unfinished business.
I do see improvement there for Conor, and I do think the results will be different the other way around in the next fight. I think it'll go the distance all over again.
Adam Smith's analysis captures what's truly at stake. This isn't just a grudge match, it's a gateway to legacy. If Eubank Jr. wins, the story shifts completely. Under Bomac's guidance, he's developed a strategic calmness, calculated pressure, smarter defense, and composure under fire. It's the kind of transformation that defines the twilight of a great career. A win here could catapult him back into world title contention, giving his journey a powerful second act. For Ben, though, this fight represents unfinished business, a chance to erase the humiliation and reclaim his identity. The hunger in him is real, but hunger alone won't beat intelligence. Smith highlights the emotional stakes perfectly: youth versus experience, chaos versus composure, legacy versus validation. This isn't just a rematch, it's the kind of fight that decides whose name echoes longer when the final bell rings.
And I think Eubank Jr., if he gets this win, and there's a new lease of life maybe under Bomac, 2026, maybe finally he could become a world champion. But he's got to get past Conor Benn first, and Conor Benn, not just hungry for revenge, he believes he can win this because of what happened first time round, because he went 12 rounds at middleweight, up in class, after a long layoff. Some people fancy Ben in this.
The stage is set, and this isn't just another fight, it's a generational statement. Chris Eubank Jr. walks into the rematch with the confidence of a man who's rebuilt himself from the ground up. Under Bomac's guidance, he's not just sharper, he's smarter, more patient, and mentally bulletproof. For Eubank, victory means redemption, revival, and the chance to finally turn experience into legacy. On the other side stands Conor Benn, young, furious, and desperate to prove that the first fight was a fluke. His intensity can ignite the arena, but emotion can also unravel a fighter when the lights burn brightest. Ben's fighting for validation, Eubank's fighting for his name. That's what makes this war so dangerous. Both men need this win more than they want it. When that first bell rings, skill will matter, but composure will decide who survives. The question isn't who's stronger, it's who's more ready. Are you backing Chris Eubank Jr. to silence the critics again, or does Conor Benn shock the world this time? Drop your prediction below, and let's settle this debate once and for all.